A sharp and sock. Hey man, if you not here, you going off.
Save the date. Anointed House of Saints invites you to our Passover celebration in Atlanta, Georgia, on April 21st, 2024 at 7 p.m. Enjoy a weekend of family fun with events catering to all ages. It's a celebration you won't want to miss. Reserve your seats now at www.anointedhouseofsaints.org. Join us for a laid-back, joy-filled weekend with your loved ones. See you there.
Shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all glory and honor to Yahweh by Hashem Mashiach, Yahweh Shai. It is the Sabbath, Israel. That's so right. Ashar Shabbat, and also it is a new moon, right?
That's right. So
Ashar Kadash Sharat, to everybody to be able to enjoy this double feast day, right? I hope y'all made something good to eat, man. If anybody cooked something good for the new moon, go ahead and drop what you cooked down in the chat because I want to see what's going on. I had grilled salmon, rice with carrots, I think some sweet potatoes.
I was going to say salmon.
I'm telling you. I was about to unmute on that.
Well, I say it wrong. Salmon.
Yeah, you ain't from the South, so we don't expect y'all to get it right.
All right, man. Salmon, you know what I'm saying? Either or, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, if y'all cooked anything good for this Sabbath / new moon, go ahead and drop what you made down in the chat, man. Share with brothers and sisters what y'all be making for real, man. I hope everybody had a wonderful week. And everybody is having a wonderful Sabbath. I was going to say, if y'all want to blow y'all's trumpets, you know what I'm saying? I ain't got no problem, but I was going to do that a little bit later. So we going to get to the new moon lesson, but I got something for y'all first, right? So we going in. Today's lesson I want to get into is Esther and the Jews' enemy. I don't want to take too much time with it because I don't want to hold people up. I want y'all to be able to enjoy the feast day. And I believe he might be doing a prayer call after this. I'm not sure, but he's on. Chances are we will be doing a prayer call. So I want everybody to be able to get on that and people not be too sleepy or anything, you know. But today's lesson is Esther and the Jews' enemy, right? Now, just wondering, has anybody read the book of Esther? If so, drop a 7 in the chat. And does anybody know who is the Jews' enemy? If so, drop a 12 in the chat. My brother said they had beef and hot dogs. Okay, or beef hot dogs. That's what's up. I'll take that. Okay. Sister Gabriella says she read the book of Esther.
Mm-hmm.
Alan Jonathan.
Y'all don't fall asleep on them 7s. There we go.
Yeah.
There you
Sister
go.
Kokma.
Who is that? Yeah.
Debbie Diane. So it looked like we have some readers. Now, I ain't even going online myself. This is probably the first time I read Esther all the way through and with the additions of Esther.
Mm-hmm.
And it's deep. It's real good. So we're going to get into this lesson. And I hope y'all enjoy.
Real quick before you start, I want to shout these people out real quick.
Okay.
Appreciate y'all for being in the building. Just real fast.
Okay.
Captain Aharon, shalom. Brother Kasaja, shalom. Sister Gabriella, shalom. Got a question for you, Sister Gabriella, but we're going to bring that up later, right? I'm going to get you. DTA Twan, Shalom, Shalom. Brother Knock, Shalom, King, Officer Knock. Michelle Watkins, Shalom. Sister Kokma, Malka, Debbie Diane, right? Yaikwab Israel, Officer Benyamin is on the call with us. Akmasha, right? Victoria Christina, always in the building, Shalom. Officer Kadar Haran, Shalom. And I think that's everybody.
Whoa. Oh, out of nowhere.
Oh, we getting the kingdom tonight, man. I'm telling you. The kingdom tonight. Shalom, King. What's going on?
Shalom, shalom.
God, all praises, man. I had that brother Adawan Shemaiah on the class, man. We got all the heavy hitters, man. So it's about to get real, man.
Hey, in the tribe of 5, Shalom.
Oh, yeah, God.
I got to shout my own family out. That's crazy. All praises.
That's what's up. But listen, man, does anybody know who the Jews' enemy is since we have some readers in here? If you know who the Jews' enemy, and they said they dropped a 7 as far as reading the book of Esther. The 12 is for if you know who is the Jews' enemy. If you know who the Jews' enemy is and why. Oh, yeah. Khan, the water. Yo, go ahead and press that like and share button, man. Press that like and share button, man, so we can get these people in this class so they can hear this lesson, because this lesson is about to be fire. I guarantee it. Hey.
Coming in quick.
That's a wonderful answer, Kadar Haran.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Amalek, man. Right? And you're like, what? Amalek? Shalom Nadiyah. Probably like Amalek. Amalek where? Where do you see Amalek at? Well, we're gonna get that. We're gonna get that here in the book. First, grab editions of Esther. Yeah. And we're going to, I don't know how I read in y'all's. I think it's chapter 1. Chapter 1? Yeah. Chapter 12.
Yeah, it starts off at
10.
Yeah, it says part of the 10th chapter. Correct.
That's great. All right, so you go to chapter 10. Adawan, grab editions of Esther chapter 11 and just hold that. All right. Which one you want me to get? So you're going to read the first 2 verses in editions of Esther chapter 10. All right, okay. First, you said first 2 chapters? The first 2 verses. Okay. All right. This is the addition to Esther. Yeah, we gotta go back. Yep. One more. No. All right. Yep. Verse 10. Then Mordecaius, right, said, God had done these things, right? For I remember a dream which I saw concerning these matters, right? And none thereof had failed, right? So Mordecai had gotten a dream from the Most High regarding certain matters that were going on, right? So this is the ending of chapter 10. All this stuff is already transpired, right? In chapter 10, there's some stuff that's going on that we go and visit a little bit later on in editions of Esther. But he's explaining there's certain matters that was going on that happened that came to pass, right? And he said none of them failed, right? So let's see what this dream is that Esther is having. You can grab that in editions of Esther chapter 11.
This is edition of Esther chapter 11, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
In the 4th year of the reign of Ptolemaeus and Cleopatra,
right,
Josetheus, who said he was a priest and Levite, and Ptolemaeus his son,
right,
brought this epistle of Purim, which they said was the same. And that Lysicamus, the son of Ptolemaeus, that was in Jerusalem, had interpreted it.
Right. So this is a reading that they were reading after it already had been put together. So go ahead and read that, Adawan. Salakia.
In the 2nd year of the reign Artaxerxes the Great, in the 1st day of the month Nisan, Mardochæus, the son of Jairus, the son of Samai, the son of Sisai, of the tribe of Benjamin, had a dream.
Right.
Who was a Jew and dwelt in the city of Susa, a great man, being a servitor in the king's court.
Right.
He was also one of the captives, which Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, carried from Jerusalem with Jeconias, king of Judea. And this was his dream. Behold, the noise of a tumult with thunder and earthquakes and uproar in the land.
Slakia. So I want y'all to take a note of that. This is a particular verse. Take a note of verse 5 in this chapter regarding the tumult, the thunder, and earthquakes and the uproar. Because we're going to see this here in this reading when we read in the book of Esther. All right? We keep reading that one.
And behold, 2 great dragons came forth ready to fight, and their cry was great.
Right? This is number 2. As far as the 2 great dragons, make a note of this, verse 6, right? Who are the 2 great dragons, right? And this is something we're going to go back to as well. Because I know y'all probably think about it. If you know who the 2 great dragons are, go ahead and drop it in the chat. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, don't drop it in the chat. Put a 7 in the chat. 7 in the chat. That's right.
Yeah, put a 7 in the chat. If you know who the 2 great dragons are, drop a 7 in the chat. But keep reading that one. Salakia.
Khan. And at their cry, all nations were prepared to battle, that they might fight against the righteous people.
Right.
And lo, a day of darkness and obscurity, tribulation and anguish, affliction and great uproar upon the earth.
Salakia. This is point number 3, right? As far as that day of darkness and obscurity, make a note of this as well, because this is a prophecy that we can see that has been said more than once, right? So, Salakia, but go ahead, keep reading that one. Finish it out.
And the whole righteous nation was troubled, fearing their own evils, and were ready to perish. Then they cried unto God, and upon their cry, as it were from a little fountain, was made a great flood, even much water. The light and the sun rose up, and the lowly were exalted and devoured the glorious. Now when Mardochæus, who had seen this dream, and what God had determined to do was awake, he bare this dream in his mind, and until night by all means was desirous to know it.
So, Mordecai, he was over here like, man, like in the same sense we could think about like with Joseph, right? Joseph had a dream. Shalom, Octaves, Shalom, King.
Shalom.
Hey, just like Joseph had a dream, right? The Most High put a dream on Joseph that he saw. This is like the same thing. It's not the same thing. It's like the same thing, right? Somebody grab me Deuteronomy 29 and 29, right? Because these are certain things that God is only showing to certain people, right? And there's a reason why, right?
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 29, and verse 29. The secret things belong unto the Lord our God.
Right.
But those things which are revealed belong unto us.
Right.
And to our children forever.
Right. That we may do all the words of this law. That's right. So those secret things that are coming from the Most High, they belong to us, right? So these visions and these dreams that we're seeing, right, that the Most High has given us, it belongs to us. So that way we may keep the law, right, and be obedient. Just like what we was talking about the other day, as far Salakia. Where my little note at? We was just talking about it yesterday in the class. What was it? As far as moving in the spirit, right?
Spirit.
As far as being in the spirit, right? This would be in a sense of something one, I would say like one point of being in the spirit, right? That's like one way of being in the spirit on top of many other things.
Right.
But grab that in additions in the book of Esther and
Salakia.
Read that from 1 and 3. Go ahead, Adawan.
No, I just want to get another precept here for you.
Okay.
On what you just brought out. This is Proverbs chapter 25 and verse 2. It is the glory of the Most High to conceal a thing, but the honor of kings is to search out a matter. Right. Just going along to that precept that you just brought out, man. Hey, the Most High has concealed things within this text, within this book. He's concealed things, right? And it's the glory for us to search those things out, to go through the scriptures, to find out those secret things that the Most High has hid in here, to be revealed to us.
That's right.
That's a beautiful thing.
It is a beautiful thing, man. That's a wonderful thing, right? Grab that in the book of Esther, chapter 1 and verse 1, and you're going to read the verse 3. So now we about to get started in this story.
This is the book of Esther, chapter 1, verse 1. Now it came to pass in the days of Ahasuerus,
right?
This is Ahasuerus, which reigned from India even into Ethiopia, over 127 provinces.
Right.
That in those days, when the king Ahasuerus sat on the throne of his kingdom, which was in Shushan, the palace, in the 3rd year of his reign, he made a feast unto all princes and his servants, the power of Persia and Media, the nobles and princes of the provinces being before him.
So it said, in the third year, right? Let me see. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to get this. Oh, there we go. All right. So I want y'all to see this. It said the king reigned from 127 provinces from India to Ethiopia. Now, there's a couple of maps that I pulled up here. Here is a good one, right? Which is talking about the Persian, their empire, right? Ethiopia. I don't know if y'all can see my mouse down in this area. Ethiopia all the way to India. So all of this over here was the king's reign, right? This is another image. I thought I like this one a little bit better, just because Arrow pointed out. It's just I don't know what language this is. Hindus, but we know that's India, Indiki, or Ethiopia. Maybe it might be Greek or something, but we know it's Ethiopia. So we can see all of this. The 120 throughout the 127 provinces was from all the way over here, all the way to India. Just so people can get an idea, like the span of the king's reign and how far it was, right? It was wide. It was big. It was huge. You know what I'm saying? Like when I read that, I was like, I got to look it up just to see what it's like. And when I seen it, I was like, dang, like that's basically the whole Europe, Asia, pretty much, like the whole thing almost, for real.
Yeah.
But just something for people to see. But it was talking about the king had a feast. So the king was having a feast around this time, right? And during this time, the king was he had all the princes of the province come along, right? And he was showing all his victuals and treasures and gold and things like that. And it said for about let me see. It said for about 104 score days, right? Can somebody drop in the chat? How much is 104 score days? Somebody quick with it. Drop it in the chat. How much is 104 score days? I'm gonna give up the answer if nobody get it. Okay.
I had to give it up.
Yeah, it's all good. You know what I'm saying? 180 days. So just imagine that, man. That brother Brandon dropped it in there. He said he was right behind you, Adawan. 180 days. So 180 days for 6 months, right? He's showing the princes of the provinces all the riches and things like that. So his riches had to been vast and beyond like measure. Like it was big. Like you got a feast going on for 6 months. Like who does that?
Yeah, right.
You don't hear about nothing like that going on. People talk about, you know what I'm saying, going in to celebrating they birthday, which is only a day, but they like my birthday the whole month.
Right. It's my birthday month.
Yo, I don't even know why you tripping. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't like Isosaurus talking about we getting down for 6 months, you need to quit. You know what I'm saying? If anything, you need to be like, you know, we praising the Most High like that. And it ain't for 6 months. It's all year round, every day.
Yeah.
And even then, you can't go far enough.
Right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I just thought that would be something good to share with y'all. But I hope y'all, if y'all are taking notes, man, drop a 7 in the chat if y'all keeping up and taking notes. And if you got any questions, drop those in the chat as well, because we got 5 brothers on here. We should be able to answer them questions for y'all. Okay. But jump down to verse 9.
Verse 9.
Actually, hey, Salakia, sorry, y'all. Hey, real quick, I'm about to smash out to go head to the new moon over at Shaquat's. Hey, man, I love y'all, brothers. Hey, Ashar Kadash Yarak.
Ashar Kadash Yarak. Shalom.
Oh, but per line too, boys. After the class, we can definitely get it on.
Con, we gonna drop the number on the bottom of the screen. Matter of fact, I'll put it up there right now. That way, after the class is over, we all can hop on the prayer call.
No prayers. All right, hey, shalom.
Shalom.
Let's go. They a little late.
You ready?
Con,
this is Esther 1 verse 9. Also, Vashti, the queen, made a feast for the women in the royal house, which belonged to King Ahasuerus.
Right.
On the 7th day, when the heart of the king was merry with wine, he commanded Mehuman, Biztha, Harbuna, Bigtha, and Abagatha, Zethar, and Karkas, the 7 chamberlains that served in the presence of Ahasuerus, the king, to bring Vashti the queen before the king with the crown royal, to shew the people and the princess her beauty, for she was fair to look on.
Salakia. So the king appointed all his chamberlains, the 7 chamberlains, to bring Vashti, right? Because he got the princes of the provinces there. Like he said, he's showing off all the things that he has, and he wanted to show his queen because he said she's fair to look upon. You know what I'm saying? So he want, you know, it's like his doing her like it's a trophy. He want to show her off a little bit, right? But read on. Watch what she does though. Watch this.
Verse 12. But the queen Vashti refused to come at the king's commandment by his chamberlains.
Right.
Therefore was the king very wroth, and his anger burned in him.
Right. So you know the king's mad because he's the king, right?
Right.
This is like look at it like this, right? You got sisters who got a man that's your head. That's your king, right? If your man tells you, he go, hey, duck. Like you need to get down, right? You're supposed to be listening to your man, right? When you don't listen to your man, what happens with that? What does that cause? It causes contention. It causes problems. And then when other people see it, it causes them to do what? To follow after the actions that you did, right?
Especially if you're the queen.
Especially if you're the queen, right? But read on, King, because we're going to get more of that here. Okay. Shalom to Sister L. Shalom, sister.
Shalom. Verse 13. Then the king said to the wise men, which knew the times, for so was the king's manner toward all that knew law and judgment. And the next unto him was Karshina, Shethar, Admatha, Dashish, Maresh, of Persia, and Medina, which saw the king's face and which sat the first in the kingdom. what shall we do unto the queen Vashti according to law? Because she had not performed the commandment of the king, I forgot the name again. Ahasuerus by the chamberlains.
Right.
And Memucan answered before the king, and the princess Vashti, the queen, had not done wrong to the king only, but also to the princes and to all the people that are in the provinces of the king Ahasuerus.
Right. So why did he say that? Why did he say the queen had done wrong not only to the king, but all the princes throughout the provinces? Like, this is why I'm like, you read this story, not just read through it. I read this, like, I went over this story several times, and it's like every single time I went over it, the Most High was pointing out certain things. Like, look at this little detail in this. Look at this little detail in that, right? Because when we read in Isaiah, and it tells us, whom shall he make to understand knowledge and doctrine?
That's right.
Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast, for precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little, there a little. So every little line that I was reading, I was meditating on and thinking about, like, why is this going on, right? Why is this happening? We'll read the next verse.
Verse 17. For this deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all women, so that they shall despise their husbands in their eyes.
Right.
When it shall be reported, the king Ahasuerus commanded Vashti the queen to be brought in before him, but she came not.
Right.
Likewise shall the ladies of Persia and Media say this day unto all the king's princes, which have heard the deed of the queen. Thus shall there arise too much contempt and wrath.
That's right. Slakia. So just because of that right there, it would cause the women, the princes of the provinces, and the women of Persia to rise up with that same type of spirit. Now, what that sound like?
Modern women today.
Modern. That was ready. Let's go.
Brother hit a sign too.
Yeah. The modern women of today, right? You know what I'm saying? That whole feminist movement. You know what I'm saying? I don't listen to no man. I do what I want kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? That spirit can't tell me what to do. Oh, I'm not a pick me. You know what I'm saying? What this is going on back then, right? This is around the time, I think it was roughly around the time Artaxerxes' rule was somewhere around like 480 something BC. It was like between 480 something and I think 460 roughly. Right. So that modern feminist mentality, you know what I'm saying? That's nothing new.
Yeah, there's nothing new under the sun.
Nothing new under the sun, right? I tell you, said a liberal, right? Because she got too much liberty. Come on, man.
Hey, and Salakia, real quick. Once again, that undermines the authority of your rulership.
Right.
That's the point that he bringing out. Like, if you got a king and his word don't stand for nothing, and even his wife can just be like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. None of the men who follow that king now have to do that.
Right.
None of the women who work under the queen have to do that. And it's a trickle down effect. That's what he's pointing out. So it's like, that's a spirit that's running rampant through our communities now.
Right.
And then that's why you have a legion of women who feel like, yo, I don't really need no man for real. I can be independent. Or they'll go totally to the opposite side of the spectrum and they'll just get with a woman. Right? They can partner up with and be co-partners with. Or you have the Gabrielle Unions of the world, right? So these are things that if we follow in the law, statutes, and commandments, we can avoid these things because there's a proper order set out in the scriptures.
God, Salaki, I'll take it one deeper. Not only that, if a woman does not, if a woman rebels against her head, right? What you think that's going to trickle down to? Even the children won't respect the head.
Right.
Son, if the mother talking to the father like this, guess what? The children won't respect the father either,
or the mother.
Yeah,
you can see that because we can see that today.
Yeah,
you know how these kids talk back to their mom and talk crazy to their mom,
but when dad come, they run.
Yeah, because there ain't no order in the household.
Yeah,
right. So this goes into place where it's like there's a reason why there's the order that's set up that we see in the book of 1 Corinthians 11:3, where it's the Most High, you know what I'm saying, Yahweh Shai Mashiach, man, then woman, right? There's a reason for that order.
And Paul touched on 3 chapters after that. Let everything be done decently and in order.
That's right.
You understand?
But go ahead and read on, King. Verse 21? Verse 20?
19.
Why?
Verse 19. If it please the king, let there go a royal commandment from him, and let it be written among the laws of the Persians and the Medes, that it be not altered, that Vashti come no more before King Ahasuerus, and let the king give her royal estate unto another that is better than she.
Right.
And when the king's decree, which he shall make, shall be published throughout all his empire, for it is great, all the wives shall give to their husbands honor, both to great and small.
Hey, Salakia, my fault. I don't mean to stop it, but I just caught something that I think we probably should touch on as well. Another side of this is that Ahasuerus was not a wise king. And that spirit that he had, he was trying to show his wife off, right? Like you said, like a trophy. And brothers be doing that today. Brothers got they woman out here. She poking, walking all up and down the street. She got on tight clothes. It's like, bro, like you want your wife to be seen?
Right.
That's the type of spirit Ahasuerus had. He wanted them other brothers to see his wife.
That's right.
That's crazy to me. That's why we push modesty so hard, because it's like, I don't need nobody else to see my wife. That way, when I go to work, I'm not worried about this brother trying to talk to my damn wife, man. Right. So I just thought that was a point that I ain't want to breeze by. But yeah, go ahead.
No, that's a great point. That's something weird. Like you want attention on your woman for what?
Yeah, that's strange to me. Like, and then when a brother come and say something to your woman, then you ready to fight.
Hey, somebody grab that precept for the brother Nadayab. And another point, you know what I'm saying? You can see in the act of what was going on, what happened, you know what I'm saying? The decree that they made out that Vashti not come again before the king, and she got to give up her estate. Right?
Yeah.
He did her like Nino Brown in New Jack City. Like for real. He was like, counselor, you know what I'm saying? I'll give me another one.
Yeah, straight up.
Yeah.
Come on, man. But read that in Hebrews 13:17. Whoever got it, Baba Kashah.
It's the book of Hebrews.
Oh, you got it.
It's the book of Hebrews, chapter 13, verse 17. Obey them that have the rule over you, and submit yourselves, for they watch for your souls, as they that must give account, that they may do it with joy and not with grief, for that is unprofitable for you.
Yeah, man. That's a good precept for real.
That's a precept.
Powerful man. You know what I'm saying? Obey them that have rule over you. Just like we supposed to obey Hamashiach Yahushai and the Most High.
Right.
A woman's supposed to be in her place under her obedience unto her husband. Right? And if you don't have a husband, you're going to be under obedience to who? Hamashiach.
Yeah, that's right.
So this is just like the brother Banyami was bringing out several chapters later in Corinthians. You see Paul reassured it by saying, let everything be done decently and in order. Okay? Shemai, can you grab Esther chapter 2 and verse 1? Slaki, what was you about to say, King?
I mean, just to double down on that too, right? You know, when a man is when his authority is being challenged by his woman, right? You know what happens if he falters in that authority. You know what it means. You know what it says to her. Oh, I could get away with this. So guess what? Let me push it even further. See how far I can go. Right. But so us as men, that's when we fall. Right. So had to make an example of her. Right. So that the statement is stuck. But at the same time, the fact that she did what she did was showing that she was already poking. She already saw that he had a thing about him that she could poke at.
Right.
But because the boys was there and his pride was on the line, that's what he did. What he did.
Yeah.
You understand? You never know what they was doing behind closed doors.
Right.
She might have been running them ragged, right? And that's why she did what she did, right? And this is a speculation, right? But in this account, why would you disobey the king just like that?
Right.
It
Right.
had
Yeah. It had to be a lead up. Yeah.
It had to be a lead to that.
Calm.
You know, one's stupid enough to do that. A king who have your life in his hands, and you can just say no.
Right.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild.
It's a fact. Hey, grab that in 2nd Esther.
It's the book of 2nd Esther. I mean, the book of Esther.
Yeah, book of Esther.
2. It's the book of Esther, chapter 2, verse 1. After these things, when the wrath of the king Ahasuerus was appeased, he remembered Vashti and what she had done, and what was decreed against her. Then said the king's servants that ministered unto him, let there be fair young virgins sought for the king, and let the king appoint officers in all the provinces of his kingdom, that they may gather together all the fair young virgins unto Shushan the palace, to the house of the women, unto the custody of the hedge, the king's chamberlain, keeper of the women, and let them things for purification be given them.
Slakia. So we can see in this situation, right, we're seeing the decree going out to play, and they bring in women along that the king is going to be able to choose from to replace Vashti in her position, right? Jump down to verse 5, King.
Verse 5. Now in Shushan the palace there was a certain Jew whose name was Mordecai, the son of Jair, the son of Shimei, the son of Kish, a Benjamite, who had been carried away from Jerusalem with the captivity which had been carried away with Jeconiah, king of Judah, who Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, had carried away. And he brought up Hadassah.
Yeah,
Hadassah. That is Esther, his uncle's daughter, for she had neither father nor mother, and the maid was fair and beautiful, whom Mordecai, when her father and mother were dead, took for his own daughter.
Right. So you got Mordecai who's over here. He's playing the stepfather, right? Or he's playing the stepfather, right? Yeah. After her parents had passed away, he took up the mantle and being a father to her, right? Matter of fact, Shalaki, let me grab this real quick, real fast, and
you know where you're going.
Yeah,
hey, y'all mark that while he looking for that precept. Y'all mark that. That's the real name of Esther, right? And this is important because remember, this part right here is talking about how we was carried away captive out of the land of our ancestors and brought into the land of these people. So in being taken captive, this is how you end up with captive names, right? This is why some of our brothers is named Stephen, some of our brothers is named Paul, some of our brothers is named whatever.
Jonathan.
Right, Jonathan or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Jonathan would be a bad example, you know, because that's my name. Let me talk. No, but for real, like we have English names because we in the land of our captivity, like the brother was saying. So it's like we got to think about that. So remember that Hadassah is Esther's real name. All right.
Yeah, the fatherless. That's what I'm looking for. Kind of because in this situation, you know what I'm saying, Mordecai was doing his job, really being the father to the fatherless.
Yeah, correct.
You know, she lost her parents, so it was like, what was she going to do? Right? She couldn't raise herself.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of that goes on these days in this day and age, right? We have a lot of those situations that have happened where it's like, you know, kids raising themselves, you know what I'm saying? The mothers and fathers aren't together. The mother's raising the child, but the mother's not raising the child. The mother is using the government to be able to assist her living. And
that's Sirach 4:10.
Khan. I knew it was right there.
You want me to pull it?
Khan. Yes. That's what I wanted.
Khan, this is the book of Sirach, chapter 4, verse 10.
Khan.
Be as a father unto the fatherless,
Right?
and instead of a husband unto their mother, so shalt thou be a son of the Most High.
Right?
And he shall love thee more than thy mother loveth.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Mordecai was doing his due diligence in being a father to the fatherless. Right? And there ain't nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got situations like that. Like if you a person who may have had kids and, you know what I'm saying, can't have more kids, but, you know, I've heard people wanting to take up adoption and things like that. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? Just be careful. You know what I'm saying? Don't go just adopting anybody. You know what I'm saying? You take up a heathen in your house and he be a monster.
Be a demon, yeah, and you trying to figure out how to fix it. Like,
yeah.
Hey, but look, hey, Salaki, I'm sorry. I gotta say this too. This lesson bringing up so many good points that it got to be touched on. What's so cold about Sirach 4 and 10? It says, "Be as a father to the fatherless, and instead of a husband to their mother." What does that mean? That means for the men that's trying to date a woman who already has children, you supposed to come in there with the intentions of, I'm gonna be a good father figure for those children.
Right.
That's the spirit. You're not coming in there like, yo, to hell with them kids. I just want her. If you got that spirit, I hope the woman sees that and let you slide up the road, man. Because that's what the scripture is saying right here. You supposed to come in there and say, I'm gonna be a good father to this child like it's my child.
That's right.
And if we had people like that, bro, it'll be a different community for real.
Be a totally different community, right?
All right, I yield on that.
Hey, it's all good. So let's see. Where did you end off at? Verse 7.
Verse 7.
Khan, go ahead and read that. Yeah, go ahead and read that. Verse 10 or verse 8.
Verse 10. Verse 8.
Yeah, verse 8.
Verse 8. So it came to pass when the king's commandments and his decree was heard, and when many maidens were gathered together unto Shushan the palace, to the custody of Haggai, that Esther was brought also unto the king's house, to the custody of Haggai, keeper of the women. Keep going. And the maiden pleased him, and she obtained kindness of him, and he speedily gave her things for purification, with such things as belonged to her, and 7 maidens, which were met to be given her out of the king's house, and he preferred her and her maids unto the best place of the house of the women. Esther had not shown her people nor her kindred, for Mordecai had charged her that she should not show it. And Mordecai walked every day before the court of the women of the women's house to know how Esther did and what should become of her.
Salakia. So you see that in verse 10, right? It says Esther had not showed her people nor her kindred, as far as like who she was, that she was a Jew. She would have been one of us, right? Why was this particular thing? Why was this said? Why is this here? What was the reason why Mordecai did that? Right? Now this could just speculation, right? He could have did this because of the dream he had that the Most High showed him. You know what I'm saying? This could be a reason why he did not allow her to reveal who she was to the king, right? Or to the people, right? So he kept that in secret. That's something important to like you want to remember for later on, because it's going to come out later on and it's going to bring everything to light, right?
Yeah.
But keep reading. You're going to read all the way down to verse 20.
All right, verse 12. Now, when every maid's turn was come to go into King Ahasuerus, after that she had been 12 months, according to the manner of the women. For so were the days of their purification accomplished, to wit, 6 months with oil of mirth, and 6 months with sweet odors, and with other things for the purifying of the women.
Right. Jump down to
Then
verse.
huh?
Go ahead and jump down to verse 15 because it's just talking about as far as like the purification of the women and everything like that. As far as that whole process that they had to do.
Yeah, coming in to be around the king. Yeah.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
All right, verse 15. Now, when the turn of Esther, the daughter of Abihail, the uncle of Mordecai, who had taken her for his daughter, was come to go in unto the king, she required nothing but what Hegai, the king's chamberlain, the keeper of the women, appointed. And Esther obtained favor in the sight of all them that looked upon her.
Right.
So Esther was taken to King Ahasuerus into his house, royal in the 10th month, which is the month of Tebeth,
right,
in the 7th year of his reign. And the king loved Esther above all the women, and she
right,
obtained grace and favor in his sight more than all the virgins, so that he set a royal crown upon her head and made her queen instead of Vashti. Then the king made a great feast unto all the princes and all his servants, even Esther's feast. And he made a release to the provinces and gave gifts according to the state of the king. And when the virgins were gathered together the second time, then Mordecai sat in the king's gate. Esther had not yet shown her kindred nor her people, as Mordecai had charged her. For Esther did the commandment of Mordecai, like as when she was brought up with him.
Right. So she kept that decree that was told to Mordecai. She was obedient to him as like it was her own father, right? Which would have been her showing that she's in order, right? You know what I'm saying? So King Ahasuerus made a good choice with picking her, right? In the image of like what the people was going to see throughout the whole entire city, the princes of the provinces, so their women would stay in order. And so the men who had wives in Persia, you know what I'm saying, who was under his reign, his people, they were going to be in order because they was going to see that and be like, we need to be like that.
Right.
That's how a lot of stuff would go. You know what I'm saying? Women would want to follow after whoever the head woman, the queen was of the province that was being governed, right? But go ahead and read verse 21. Adawan, can you grab Additions of Esther chapter 12? But go ahead and read that in verse 21, King.
Verse 21. In those days, while Mordecai sat in the king's gate, two of the king's chamberlain, Bigthan and Tarish, of those which kept the door, were wroth and sought to lay hands on the king Ahasuerus.
Right. So they was mad, right? They're saying they angry. They talking about laying hands on the king. Like they want to kill the king. Like what would that do if that were to have happened, right? What would that do? Grab Additions of Esther chapter 11. Like about that. If drop in the chat, what would possibly happen to the whole government if the king was killed? Right? Just drop it in the chat. Like what y'all think would happen, right? We'll read that in Additions to Esther 12 and 1. You're going to want to read from verse 1 to verse 4.
Okay. And Mardochus took his rest in the court with Gabbatha and Thara, the two eunuchs of the king.
Right. So these eunuchs that is talking about here in Additions to Esther are the same chamberlains that is talking about in the book of Esther, chapter 2. We'll read on.
And he heard their devices and searched out their purposes and learned that they were about to lay hands upon Artaxerxes the king. And so he certified the king of them.
Right.
Then the king examined the two eunuchs, and after they had confessed it, they were strangled.
Right.
And the king made a record of these things, and Mardochus also wrote thereof.
Right. So This was something that he made note of. Now, keep in mind this, right? They made note of this. So the king wrote it down, and Mordecai wrote it down, right? They made they wrote down this account as far as like what happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a reason being for this. And again, this is something else we're going to see later on, right? Well, let me see. What do some people say? Proof of the Most High that women's beauty at a young woman what to an adult woman, temptation, good or bad, the people would be lost, ungoverned, without a king. Khan, hey, let's go.
Yeah, that's right.
I go by Yas. Khan, I go by Yas. Khan, that was a good answer, right? So that's exactly what I was looking for. Read this in Additions of Esther chapter 11 and verse 5, because this is one of them points I was talking about we was going to come back to.
This is Edition of Esther, chapter 11, verse 5. Behold, the noise of a tumult, and with thunder and earthquakes and uproar in the land.
Right? So if the king, if something would have happened and he would have got killed, just like I go by Yah said, right? They would be lost in government and without a king, which what? It would cause tumult with the people. People would be roaring. Like it would cause tumult with the people. People would be warring and doing all kinds of riotous things, destroying stuff.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just like thunder and earthquake. The thunder is like the rage in the people. The earthquake is the riotousness that's going on. The uproar of the whole government just going out of whack. And nobody is able to keep anything under control.
It's just
right?
Disorder.
It's all disorder, right? So like you got something to say, Shemaiah? You got something?
No.
Okay. Bakan, jump back, read that in verse 22 and 23. Because it basically says the same thing.
That's chapter 2.
Yeah, in the book of Esther, chapter 2, verse 22 and 23.
Okay, 22. Okay. It's the book of Esther, chapter 2 and verse 22.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing was known to Mordecai, who
right?
told it unto Esther, the queen.
Right.
And Esther certified the king thereof in Mordecai's name.
Right. So before it said Mordecai told the king, but here it says Esther told the king.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Because Esther was right next to him.
Right.
So nobody just go and talk to the king. Right. There's a certain ordinance that they have where it's like you are appointed to come and talk to the king. Right. So he went and told Esther, who certified it, and told the king. And then what happened after that? Read on.
And when inquisition was made of the matter, it was found out. Mm-hmm. Therefore, there were both hanged on a tree, and it was written in the book of the Chronicles before the king.
Right. So this was the writing where they wrote it down in the book of the Chronicles, where they kept this information, right? Mm-hmm. So he wrote it down as well as Mordecai wrote it down. And I'm wondering, this is speculation, if this writing, what we read in Esther, would be like the king's writing, but over here in the editions of Esther, it's like Mordecai. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Where it's like we have this, instead of it being like a book combined, it's two separate books because of additional information, right? Cool. Because not all that information is in here. It ends at chapter 10 and verse 3 in the book of Esther, and then revisits us back again in addition to Esther, and it tells us that it's not written in neither the Hebrew nor the Chaldee.
Right.
And when it starts off, it says part of the 10th chapter after the Greek.
There you go. Hey, and Salakia, that's a heavy point to hit, because one of Sister L had kind of referenced that earlier. She said, well, if this is the additions to Esther, wouldn't that technically make those two books one book?
Right.
And that's what he's going into. And I think that's absolutely right. It's two separate books, because in the book of Esther, some people would try to say that Esther is a book that references pagan gods, mm-hmm. right? They try to connect Esther with Ishtar, and they try to connect Marduk with what's his name? Mordecai.
Mordecai.
Right? they try to make those connections, and then they say, well, the name of the Most High is not found anywhere in Esther. Right? So they use those arguments to try to say that this is not a book inspired by the Most High.
Right.
But the proof is in the pudding once the additions to Esther come in, because the additions to Esther comes in and gives you the theological perspective of everything that's happening in that story. So yeah, it's a good, I would definitely say that's absolutely right. It's two separate books, and it explains it in the first chapter.
Fine. So reading forward, Adawan, can you grab the book of Esther, chapter 3, and I'm gonna have you read chapter 3 and 4, and then Shemaiah, I want you to jump back in on chapter 5 and 6, and I'm gonna have you grab these precepts. Okay. Grab Psalm 36 and 4, and Micah 2 and 1. But if you can't, go ahead and read that in the book of Esther, chapter 3. And this is where it's about to. Now we about to get into the story for real, Israel. So I hope y'all ready. If y'all still awake, y'all enjoying the class so far, and you taking notes, drop a 7 in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
But you can go ahead and read that, Adawan.
Time. Call it one more time.
The book of Esther, chapter 3 and verse 1.
All right. After these things, did King Ahasuerus promote Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite.
Oh, wait a minute. It said, hold on. So Mordecai told Esther. Esther told the king. But what happened?
After these things, did King Ahasuerus promote Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite.
Right? Now, I was looking at this, I'm like, well, why did that happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why did that happen? Well, Haman had to be in a certain position where it was like, for that whole, all right, so for when Mordecai was telling Vashti not to let the people know or them know, you know what I'm saying, of like her lineage, this could be a good reason why. You know what I'm saying? Because if she would have did something with certifying Mordecai in it, you know what I'm saying, they could have seen something like these two people are working together, which could have caused some type of conspiracy or something like that. Like, this is just speculation. It could have got him killed. You know what I'm saying? So they kept that thing under wraps for a major reason. And the reason why these things are coming to play as they are is just for the Most High's reasoning, for real, because this is his story.
Correct.
Right? But keep reading that one.
Khan, and advanced him and set his seat above all the princes that were with him.
Mm-hmm.
And all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed and reverenced Haman, for the king had so commanded concerning him. But Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence. Then the king's servants, which were in the king's gate, said unto Mordecai, why transgressest thou the king's commandment?
Right.
Now it came to pass when they spake daily unto him, and he hearkened not unto them, that they told Haman to see whether Mordecai's matters would stand, for he had told them that he was a Jew.
Salakia. So we could see, like, Mordecai wasn't bowing down to him, right? Why? Does anybody know why? What precept is it that y'all can find where you know what I'm saying, we're not supposed to bow down to nobody? Just drop it in the chat, whoever get it. Another thing is, it said that Haman was an Agagite.
That's right.
What's the lineage of an Agagite? Where do they come from, right? Let's look at it. Make this quick. All right, so right here in Strong's H91, an Agagite, biblical usage, it says, I will overtop, right? Remember that. It says, I will overtop, right? The Strong's definition says an Agagite or descendant subject of Agag, right? So this is lining this up. So now we see an Agagite is a descendant of Agag. Who's that a descendant of, right? So this is Strong's H90. What does it say? Biblical usage, Agag, I will overtop. Again, it says, king of Amalek spared by Saul, slain by Samuel, right? And the definition says, of uncertain derivation, flame, Agag, a title of Amalekitish kings, right? I was talking about Amalek. So now we going back. So where does Amalek come from? And I know y'all could drop it in the chat. You know what I'm saying? But you got Amalek, right? It says a dweller in the valley, Strong's definition. Amalek, a descendant of Esau. So we know, now we know, Octave's got it, you know what I'm saying? Edom, right? So now we know, Haman would have been a descendant of who? Esau. That's where he come from. That's why he got that spirit on him. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you're not going to bow down to me? You know what I'm saying? Because that's how they feel, right? They want to lord over us, for real. They want to overtop us, right? But read on that one, Salakia.
Khan. Verse, where did I stop?
You was at verse 4. You at verse 5.
Okay, Khan. And when Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence, then was Haman full of wrath. And he thought scorn to lay hands on Mordecai alone, for they had showed him the people of Mordecai. Wherefore Haman sought to destroy all the Jews that were throughout the whole kingdom of Ahasuerus, even the people of Mordecai.
Khan, Salakia. Grab that in the book of Psalms, chapter 36 and verse 4, real quick.
God, this is the book of Psalms, chapter 36, verse 4. He deviseth mischief
right
upon his bed.
Uh-huh.
He set it up himself in a way that is not good. He abhorred not evil.
Right. So they don't look, man. This is Esau we talking about, man. They enjoy evil. This is what they do.
Mm-hmm.
They devise mischief in their beds. Like they up all night long thinking about a way that they can conspire to keep us down as a people, right? To destroy us, you know what I'm saying? To keep us from getting back to the Most High, to have us doing wickedly upon one another, to be killing one another, disrespecting one another. Everything under the sun that the Most High don't want us to do to one another, they trying to make us do. And they doing a great job at it.
Right.
When you look at it, they're doing a wonderful job. And really, they laughing because they like, now they gotten so good with it, it's easy for them. And we make it even easier on ourselves, right? I was watching a video of the girl, Sukiana. You know what I'm saying? I know brothers brought out a lesson on this that I seen. But an Edomite girl was doing an interview with her, and she was like, "Oh, you a musician?" She was like, "What is that? A magician?" I was like, "What? What just happened?" And she kept talking, and she was just spewing out nonsense. And I'm like, and this is what the women of today is listening to. This is why they jacked up. Because everything she was spewing out of her mouth made no sense whatsoever. She was talking about, I don't think. Like, you should think, because you don't know what it means to be a musician.
Right.
Yeah, she sounded real dumb on that.
Like that's your expertise. You are a musician. You make music.
No, I don't.
She had
I
the
make
nerve.
music.
Yeah, she was offended. Like, come on, man. Esau done made it way too easy for themselves to sit back here and play us, man. And we got to stop playing that game.
That's right.
But continue on, Adawan.
Khan. Verse 7. In the first month, that is the month Nisan, in the 12th year of King Ahasuerus, they cast pure, that is the lot, before Haman from day to day,
Right.
and from month to the 12th month, that is the month Adar.
Right. So now, you know what I'm saying, and we're going to come back and revisit this again, but as y'all can see, we're in the 12th month, which is the month Adar, right? We'll read on that one.
And Haman said unto King Ahasuerus, there is a certain people scattered abroad and dispersed among the people in all the provinces of thy kingdom, and their laws are diverse from all people. Neither keep they the king's laws. Therefore, it is not for the king's profit to suffer them. Hey, Salakia, want to point out they was keeping the law in the land of their captivity. Want to point that out.
Right.
Verse 9. And if it please the king, let it be written that they may be destroyed.
Right.
And I will pay 10,000 talents of silver to the hands of those that have charge of the business to bring it to the king's treasuries. And the king took his ring from off his hand and gave it unto Haman, the son of Hammedatha the Agagite, the Jew's enemy. And the king said unto Haman, the silver is given to thee, the people also, to do with them as it seemeth good to thee.
Right.
Then were the king's scribes called on the 13th day of the first month, and there was written according to all that Haman had commanded unto the king's lieutenants, and to the governors that were over every province, and to the rulers of every people of every province, according to the writing thereof, and to every people after their language, in the name of King Ahasuerus was it written, and sealed with the king's ring.
Jump down to verse 14, I don't want.
Verse 14. The copy of the writing for a commandment to be given in every province was published unto all people, that they should be ready against that day.
Right. So now, can y'all say, would this have been a righteous decree? You know that's what it was, an unrighteous decree, man. Like Haman was plotting up against Israel to get them destroyed. Why? Because Mordecai didn't bow down to him.
Right.
Right? He was in his feelings that bad. That bad. Ain't that what Esau like now?
Yeah.
And Esau been that way. You know what I'm saying? Grab that in Isaiah chapter 10 and 1 for me, Baba Kushai.
All right. It's the book of Isaiah chapter 10, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
Woe unto them that decree unrighteousness to Slakia. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees.
Right.
And that right grievousness which they have prescribed.
Right. Keep reading.
Verse 2. To turn aside the needy from judgment.
Right.
And to take away the right from the poor of any people.
Right.
So, Slakia, of my people.
Right. So they was taking away the right from the poor. From the people that were weaker. You know what I'm saying? That were in a lowly position. He was taking away that right to get these people killed. Keep reading.
That widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless.
Right.
And what will ye do in the day of visitation?
Right. So what are you going to do in the day of visitation? When this thing turns back around on you, right? Keep reading.
And in the desolation, which shall come from far.
Right.
To whom will ye flee for help?
Right. Whom you going to go to for help? Right. Who's going to save you in the day of your reckoning? Right. Keep reading.
And where will ye leave your glory?
Right.
Go ahead.
And there was more.
That was the end of that verse.
And what you gonna do as far as your glory? Now what? You know what I'm saying? All the glory that you had, you ain't gonna be able to say nothing as far as like, well, I did this or well, I did that. You ain't gonna be able to use that in that day when your reckoning comes, because it's gonna be over with. The Most High not dealing with that, man. Right?
That's what the Most High prescribed against people who do those things. There's a book of Proverbs, chapter 16, verse 18.
Right.
Pride goeth before destruction.
That's right.
And an haughty spirit before a fall.
Yeah, man. Pride goeth before destruction, man. Because of his pride, that, you know what I'm saying, because he was puffed up, you know what I'm saying, because Ahasuerus then exalted him and he didn't get bowed to. Now you're having this king make an unrighteous decree, not only to go after the person who didn't bow to you, but the whole nation, right? See, and that's why the Most High said he has he gonna have war with Amalek for all his generations.
Yeah, that's right.
Come on, man. For all his generations, he got war with Amalek. In this instance right here, it's a situation he got war with Amalek. Just because of something as simple as that, right? Because you want to be puffed up in your power as somebody don't bow to you. Now, you got to take it out on everybody.
And who the only person you could think of on earth to move like that anyway?
Yeah, just drop it in the chat.
That's simple. Like,
right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I like what Octave say, Edom.
Right.
Yeah.
Edom.
Facts. But jump to chapter 4 out of 1.
Chapter 4. When Mordecai perceived all that was done, Mordecai rent his clothes and put on sackcloth with ashes, and went out into the midst of the city and cried with a loud and bitter cry, and came even before the king's gate. For none might enter into the king's gate clothed with sackcloth. And in every province, whithersoever the king's commandment and his decree came, there was great mourning among the Jews,
right,
and fasting, and weeping, and wailing, and many lay in sackcloth and ashes.
Right. So this is one of them. This is one of them points that we was going to be going back to, right?
Right.
The day of darkness and obscurity. Read that in Editions Esther 11 and 8. Baba Kushai.
Can we read 7 too?
Just verse 8.
All right, okay. This is Edition to Esther, chapter 11, verse 8. And lo, a day of darkness and obscurity,
right?
Tribulation and anguish,
right?
Affliction and great uproar upon the earth,
right? This is a great uproar upon the nation of Israel, right? Because now you got from all the 127 provinces, there's this decree going out that's going up against them, and you see what's happening, right? They're mourning, they're wailing, they're weeping, they're fasting, putting on sackcloth. You know what I'm saying? Praying to the Most High that, you know, he saved our ancestors up out of that.
That's right.
Because not only are they going to lose their families, it's like your kids is going to die. All of these things. And for what? They don't even understand what's going on. It's just like something happening to them out of nowhere. In 2nd Maccabees chapter 7, they knew what time it was. They was like, we went away from you, the Most High, you know what I'm saying? But in that same time, you know what I'm saying, they prayed and asked for forgiveness in the time of their affliction, right? In this situation, it's like like Adam was saying, they was keeping the laws in their captivity. So they like, what's happening?
Right.
They all in distraught and confused, right?
Hey, it seems to be a pattern too. Like with our captivities, we get to the captivity and we get kind of comfortable in that captivity, and then it get bad real quick.
Right.
And then the Most High save us up out of that. Happened in Egypt. Same thing happened here. Same thing happened in the Greek captivity. You read about it in the New Testament. Some of our people was real comfortable.
Right. And
then it gets really bad. And then you gotta repent. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it just seems like that's the pattern, man.
Okay. But keep reading on that, Adawan.
Verse 4. So Esther's maids and her chamberlains came and told her. Then was the queen exceedingly grieved, and she sent raiment to clothe Mordecai and to take away his sackcloth from him, but he received it not.
Right.
Then called Esther for Hatak, one of the king's chamberlains, whom he had appointed to attend upon her, and gave him a commandment to Mordecai to know what it was and why it was. So Hatak went forth to Mordecai unto the street of the city, which was before the king's gate. And Mordecai... Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, because it was saying before, when Mordecai was in sackcloth, he couldn't go towards King's Gate. He couldn't even go in. in the sackcloth attire, right? Because he over here mourning, man, right? He trying to send praises and glory to the Most High that this thing that is decreed doesn't befall on his people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And Esther was just trying to figure out what was going on. Because she, from how it's looking, she wasn't aware. She don't know what's happening, right? But keep reading that one.
Verse 8. Also, he gave. Is that where I'm at?
Yep.
Yeah, verse 8. Also, he gave him the copy of the writing of the decree that was given at Shushan to destroy them, to show it unto Esther, and to declare it unto her, and to charge her that she should go in unto the king to make supplication unto him, and to make request before him for her people.
Right.
And Hathach came and told Esther the words of Mordecai. Again, Esther spake unto Hathach and gave him commandment unto Mordecai. All the king's servants and the people of the king's provinces do know that whosoever, whether man or woman, shall come to the king into the inner court, who is not called,
Right.
there is one law of his to put him to death.
Right. So this is that decree that we were speaking of before. You couldn't come before the king if you weren't called, right? But keep reading.
Except such to whom the king shall hold out the golden scepter,
Right.
that he may live.
Fine.
But I have not been called to come in to the king these 30 days.
Fine.
And they told to Mordecai Esther's words. Then Mordecai commanded to answer Esther, think not with thyself that thou shalt escape in the king's house more than all the Jews.
Mm-hmm.
For if thou altogether holdest thy peace at this time, then shall their enlargement and deliverance arise to the Jews from another place. But thou and thy father's house shall be destroyed. And who knoweth whether thou art come to the kingdom for such a time as this?
Right. So he was letting her know, like, yo, don't think that this ain't going to come to your front door neither. Like, even you and your father's house. And who is her father? It's Mordecai. Because Mordecai took her in and was a father to her.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's why he, like, you can't look to see like it ain't going to come to you, because it's coming to me. And it like, and she being being raised by him, being the type of woman that she was, how he raised her, you think she would have held her tongue to be like, she ain't going to say nothing, watching him die after he spent his life with her, raising her? Absolutely not. She would have showed something where it had been revealed, like, oh, she's one of them too. And she would be a part of that as well. And at the same time, we also seen before in the story, she pleased the king, right? He was happy with her. Let me see, where is we at? Can you can you read that one, Baba Kashah?
Yeah, Khan. Boom, 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 boom. And then verse 15. Then Esther bade them return Mordecai this answer.
Mm-hmm.
Go, gather together all the Jews that are present in Shushan,
Right,
and fast ye for me, and neither eat nor drink 3 days, night or day. I also and my maidens will fast likewise.
right.
And so will I go in unto the king, which is not according to the law. And if I perish, I perish.
Right. So she took it upon herself. She was like, you know what? Have everybody fast for me. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes we do this as Israel, right? We come to a place where there might be something that's going on throughout Israel where it's like we call for a fast. We call for a nationwide fast throughout Israel to fast for a day or a couple days or maybe 3 days, right?
Yeah.
So that's something that she did. And with her faith in that, you know what I'm saying? She's hoping that the Most High will grant her the glory to be able to talk to the king.
Right.
Right. Well, we could we ain't gotta worry about verse 17. Jump to chapter 5. If you holding that Shemaiah, Baba Kushai.
Now it came to pass on the third day that Esther put on her royal apparel and stood in the inner court of the king's house,
Right.
over against the king's house. And the king sat upon his royal throne in the royal house, over against the gate of the house.
Right.
And it was so, when the king saw Esther the queen standing in the court, that she obtained favor in his sight. And the king held out to Esther the golden scepter that was in his hand. So Esther drew near and touched the top of the scepter. Then said the king unto her, What wilt thou, Queen Esther? And what is thy request? It shall be even given to thee to half of the king.
Right.
And that's,
so just like we was reading in the chapter before, it said the only person, like the only way she'll be able to talk to him and be able to live is if he hold out his golden scepter, right? And you know, Esther had favor to King Ahasuerus because he liked her. You know what I'm saying? He liked how she was. You know what I'm saying? She had a good response with the other women that was in the court and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason why he made her queen. You know, but keep reading, Salakia.
verse 4. And Esther answered, If it seem good unto the king, let the king and Haman come this day unto the banquet that I have prepared for him. Then the king said, Cause Haman to make haste, that he may do as Esther has said. So the king and Haman came to the banquet that Esther had prepared. And the king said unto Esther at the banquet of wine, What is thy petition? And it shall be granted thee. And what is thy request? Even to the half of the kingdom it shall be performed. Then answered Esther and said, My petition and my request is, if I have found favor in the sight of the king, and if it please the king to grant my petition and to perform my request, let the king and Haman come to the banquet that I shall prepare for them, and I will do tomorrow as the king has said.
All right. So look at this. Esther got her own. She got her own plan, right? So she's setting up her own plan to be able to, like, you know what I'm saying, wine and dine the king and make him feel good, right? So she can tell him what's going on and let him know. And hopefully he'll heal her. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, that decree was made and it was sealed by the king, right? So in life, she's trying to make herself, she's humbling herself to him, right? She's being the queen. She's being like a woman who's a wife to a husband would be, right? Bringing herself down a few levels so she could be able to come to him and he'll be able to hear her that way. Hopefully she'll be heard.
Right.
Obedience go a long way.
Obedient time. You know what I'm saying? It's just like the story in the one of the Adawan Yawasab, because he brought this out with Abigail. You know what I'm saying? Abigail, Nabal, and David, right? Abigail humbled herself before King David. You know what I'm saying? So he wouldn't destroy the land and everything like that. That's the same thing what Esther is doing. Like Sister L said, quiet strength. All right. But keep reading, King. Salakia.
Verse 9. Then went Haman forth that day joyful and with a glad heart. But when Haman saw Mordecai in the king's gate, that he stood not up, nor moved for him, he was full of indignation against Mordecai. Nevertheless, Haman refrained himself, and when he came home, he sent and called for his friends and Zeresh, his wife.
Salakia. So look at that, man. Once again, this man, like, this man gets salty at every little thing, man. He wouldn't bow down to me. Then I'm over here, I'm all happy, skipping, in a good mood. You know what I'm saying? Esther making a meal for making a banquet for me and the king, setting it up real nice. And this man, he won't even get up. Like, what's wrong with you, man?
Pride has consumed you.
Yeah, pride consumed you, man. Like, real bad. It's like that Cat Williams stuff he was talking about, where it's like you just wake up angry or whatever like that. Like, you instantly got something that's supposed to be good news to you, but just because this man didn't stand up, you got mad. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna ask this question again, man. And somebody, like Adam said, drop it in the chat. Who are the two great dragons? If you know who it is, drop a 7 in the chat. You know what I'm saying? But keep reading, Shemaiah.
Verse 11. And Haman told them of the glory of his riches and the multitude of his children, and all the things wherein the king had promoted him, and how he had advanced him above the prince and servants of the king.
Right? Slakia. Somebody grab, Adawan, can you grab Job 27 and verse 14? You see what happened? You know what I'm saying? So King Ahasuerus advanced him. He gave him victuals, he gave him money or whatever, so he can do whatever was his bidding. You know what I'm saying? And he was showing it, to his wife and his kids and all of that. Read this in Job 27:14, Adawan.
Khan. It's the book of Job 27 and 14.
Uh-huh.
If his children be multiplied,
Right.
it is for the sword.
Right.
That's right.
And his offspring shall not be satisfied with bread.
Right. And what's bread? Anybody know? If you know what the bread is, drop the scripture in the chat. Everybody should know because Aharon, he brings this out every Sabbath. You know what I'm saying? But you already know, you know what I'm saying? Esau, Amalek, they fit for the sword. What did it say? Read it again, Adawan.
Oh, I had to turn back. Hold on. Salaki, I had dropped it. Yeah, this is the book of Job, chapter 27 and 14. If his children be multiplied, you want me to start at 14 you said, or 13?
Nah, lie. You got it. Salakia.
Okay. Well, matter of fact, let me jump up to 13. Salaki, let me jump up to 13. This is the portion of a wicked man with God, and the heritage of oppressors,
right?
Which they shall receive of the Almighty. If his children be multiplied, it is for the sword,
right?
And his offspring shall not be satisfied with bread.
See, man, you see what the judgment is for Esau, because he's an oppressor of oppressors. You know what I'm saying? All he do, his focus is to kill, steal, and destroy. And that's all what he has done throughout the whole entire earth. He destroyed us with his ideology. He destroyed us with their inventions. You know what I'm saying? Their diseases, the things that they put in the food. Man, the stuff that they put in the food is so crazy. It's so crazy. You know, if you go over there and like I think it's like in Europe or something like that.
Europe, yeah.
They candy on the if you go getting candy that's Americanized candy, they have warning labels on it.
Right.
There's a warning label on the candy, like the Surgeon General that used to come on like cigarette boxes. That's how jacked up it is over here, man.
Yeah, and the same company that's poisoning us over here, they gotta make it different for Europe because they got so much stuff that's in the candy and all that's banned in Europe that they have to make something totally different for them.
I'm sure it was crazy. The ketchup here in America got about 20 ingredients on the back. When I was back home in the Bahamas, my ketchup ingredient had 5. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
5 ingredients.
I think it's like that.
And why I don't just got 1 ingredient? Like I don't understand. Like, what are they making
like
this
two,
out of?
like tomatoes and vinegar?
Yeah, you know, like what are we making it out of?
Fine. Let me see. Keep reading, King.
God. Verse 12.
Yep.
Haman said, moreover, yeah, Esther the queen did let no man come in with the king unto the banquet that she had prepared but myself.
Mm-hmm.
And tomorrow I am invited unto her also with the king. Yet all this availeth me nothing, so long as I see Mordecai, the Jew, sitting at the king's gate.
Look at that, man. This man,
Hmm.
he bragging about going in, and Esther got a banquet and everything set up for him and the king, for just him and the king. You know what I'm saying? And it's like the only thing you focused on is Mordecai.
Fixation.
But keep reading, King. Slakia.
God. Verse 13, no, 14. Then
Mm-hmm.
said Zeresh, his wife, and all his friends unto him, let a gallows be made of 50 cubits high, and tomorrow speak thou unto the king that Mordecai may be hanged thereon.
Look at this.
Then go in merrily with the king unto the banquet, and the theme pleased Haman, and he caused the gallows to be made.
Look. So look at that. You know what I'm saying? He said, I want you to make a gallows 50 cubits high, which that's high. If you know how much a cubit is, I believe a cubit is supposed to be about 18 inches, if I'm correct.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? That's high for real. You know what I'm saying? He want everybody to see this.
God.
Like this is the way this the way Esau is. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He want to put you up on shame for everybody to be able to see.
Right.
Yeah.
And then to stand there proudly. It's the same thing like when Adonai Eliel bring out as far as things killing, you know what I'm saying? And what they did to the tribe of Gad, you know what I'm saying? And the tribes of Reuben, you know what I'm saying? The Native Americans that was over here, they had their bodies stacked up extra crazy high in the air. And some wicked Edomite standing on top, like he done did something great.
Yo, the
Like,
like who even would have the thought to even do something like that?
and you had to climb up them, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, these people is sick, man.
Sure.
I was watching a movie. There's a movie on is it The English? It's not a movie, it's a show.
Oh, yeah.
It's a show called The English, man. These Edomites is wicked. They went into a town of Native Americans and just went and slaughtered them. They slaughtered them, right? And dude come back with his shirt off with blood all over his body like he was wiping it on to wear it.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all want to be friends with this type of people.
Right.
These same people who will get you jacked up.
Yeah. Some of these old people that was around when the 60s and all that stuff was going on, some of them still around here.
That's facts. The spirit's still around here, man.
Spirit definitely still around here.
You know what I'm saying? You done seen it in the Tanners, in the Connors, in the Karens. Now you seeing it for real because thanks to social media, you know what I'm saying? You able to plaster that thing throughout every social media platform. So you get to see everybody.
Right.
They got backdoor sites where it's like you see Esau sitting back here talking crazy to Jake, you know what I'm saying? Calling him the N-word and everything like that. And they laughing and living it up. That's why in Psalms it said, you know what I'm saying, even everything that was passed down, the reason why it says what it says in Isaiah as far as prepare slaughter for thy forefathers, you know what I'm saying? Even for the children, because of the fact of they have their portion today. They living it up, man. They can walk into your crib, shoot you on the couch while you eating ice cream, you know what I'm saying, and get 10 years, 5 on good behavior.
God, yeah, she'll be out soon.
You know what I'm saying? They could shoot you in the street and say they was threatened for their life because you had a hood on or something like that.
Yeah, and get charged with manslaughter instead of murder.
Right.
Now, let's talk about not trusting your enemies. Let me go get the classic real quick, right? This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 31. Envy thou not the oppressor,
Right.
and choose none of his ways. Right? Esau is a person of vile wickedness.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have no moral compass. They do not they don't do the good things that the Most High has prescribed. It's not in them. You know what I mean? Only thing they can do is evil and what's according to them, because these people, they live in pride. So all the choices, all the things that they like to do, don't do them.
Right.
Don't eat your steak medium rare. You know the Most High don't want us to be ingesting no blood.
Right.
You understand? Don't be celebrating all these wicked holidays. You got Valentine's Day right around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
They want to know if you buying your girl something.
Yeah.
The old stores decked out in pink and red.
Right.
You know what I mean? But everybody just envying the oppressor. Ooh, I want a Valentine's Day too.
Mm-hmm.
And you better don't come home. So you better come home with one, because your rep gonna be mad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's right. Because we live in a communist society for real. It's all about money with everything. That's the reason why our people ain't got nothing now, right? That's the reason why we keep the economy going.
Right. A capitalist society.
It's a capitalist society, right? What is it? 1.2 or 2 point something trillion?
Something stupid.
Something ridiculously stupid that keeps this economy going, right? We keep money in their pockets so they could be in nice houses where they driving regular cars like Toyota Odyssey and whatever little sedans and stuff like that, while we over here in the projects and everything talking about, I got a Benz and I got a Cadillac, or I got the Scat Pack, I got the Hellcat. Like, word?
See, that goes to our mind state in the Hosea 4:6, right? Because once again, if we don't educate ourselves on how to properly manage our money, we make it so easy for us to be destroyed.
Right.
If we don't come together and support each other, the brother Shemaiah got a business or something like that, I'm supposed to be over there supporting him.
Right.
And likewise, he's supposed to be supporting Boaz, and Boaz supposed to be supporting Benjamin, and we're supposed to have a cycle, a system, because if we don't do that, nobody else is going to do it for us.
Yeah. Like the money shouldn't leave our community.
It
should barely leave our community, put it like that.
Yeah, like if it left our community, all of us should have touched it first.
That's right. But yeah, not to go off topic, you know what I'm saying? So in this, we can see that our people here in the book of Esther, we working together, right?
Right.
Fasting together, we praying together. You know what I'm saying? We keeping the commandments, we're being obedient, right? This is something we got to get back to as a people. That way we can be moving in the spirit, as Alan was talking about yesterday.
That's right.
To bring our spirit back to the place to where it was, how we was on fire when we first came into this truth. Right? But go ahead and read on in chapter 6.
Verse 6. On that night could not the king sleep, and he commanded to bring the book of records of the Chronicles, and they were read before the king.
Look at this.
And it was found written that Mordecai had told of Bigthan and Teresh, two of the king's chamberlains, the keepers of the door, who sought to lay hands on the king Ahasuerus. And the king said, what honor and dignity have been done to Mordecai for this?
Right. So it's like, wait a minute. If Mordecai did this, what did he get for this? What happened? Because he saved my life. Right? So it's like, how come ain't nothing happened with Mordecai? What did he get? Is what he asking. But read on.
Then said the king's servants that ministered unto him, there is nothing done for him. And the king said, who is in the court? Now Haman was come into the outward court of the king's house. to speak unto the king to hang Mordecai on the gallows that
Mhm.
he had prepared for him.
Salakia. Now look at this, right? Haman ready to put Mordecai on the gallows. Now what? Now this is where this is about to get really good. This is when the story starts getting really good, right? He ready to hang Mordecai on the gallows that he got made that's 50 cubits high. But the king over here like, yo, this man just saved my life. What happened to him? What did he get for this act that he did, right? Haman don't even know what's about to happen. He don't even know what's going on, right? Keep reading, King.
Verse 6. So Haman came in, and the king said unto him, what shall be done unto the man whom the king delighteth to honor?
Mm-hmm.
Now Haman thought in his heart, to whom would the king delight to do honor more than to myself?
Uh-oh.
And Haman answered the king, for the man whom the king delighteth to honor, let the royal apparel be brought, which the king uses to wear, and the horse that the king rideth upon, and the crown royal which is set upon his head. And
Right.
let this apparel and horse be delivered to the hand of one of the king's most noble princes, that they may array the man with all whom the king delighted to honor, and to bring him on horseback through the street of the city, and proclaim before him, thus shall it be done to the man whom the king delighted to honor.
Slakia. So you see what that man Haman, he got super prideful. He like, yo, who is the king more delighted than in me? Right?
Set us so himself up.
Khan, shalom to sis. Nadanya, shalom, sis.
Shalom.
Shalom. Hey, he said, who is the king more delighted in than me? What? Oh, you gotta set him up like that. You gotta put him in this fit. You gotta put him on your horse. You gotta
Get him your crown.
get him your crown. Yeah, that's me. That's me, son. It's all me. me. It's me. You know what I'm saying? He was smelling himself real good.
Yeah.
You don't even know what's about to happen. Keep reading.
Verse 10. Then the king said to Haman, make haste and take the apparel and the horse as thou hast said, and do even so to Mordecai the Jew that sitteth at the king's gate.
Whoa.
Let nothing fail of all that thou hast spoken.
Right.
I could imagine.
Hey, it's a Salakia. It's like
Mordecai. What?
it's like, shit, what should I do for this person? He thinking it's him. He's like, well, shit, let me see. Let's do this. Let's do that. Then he say Mordecai, he like, huh? Like his face just dropped.
Yeah, he was confounded. He probably couldn't even hide his expression at that point.
Listen, man. Adawan, grab Additions of Esther chapter 5, chapter 12 and verse 5. Read verse 11 real quick. Adawan.
Then took Haman the apparel and the horse and arrayed Mordecai, and brought him on horseback through the streets of the city, and proclaimed before him.
No, Salakia. No, he wants addition to Esther 12 and 5.
Oh,
I wanted him to read verse 11 also.
Oh, you want that one first?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll start again. Verse 11. Then took Haman the apparel and the horse, and arrayed Mordecai, and brought him on horseback through the street of the city, and proclaimed before him, thus shall it be done unto the man whom the king delighted to honor.
Right? Go ahead and read that in Additions of Esther 12, verse 5 and 6 out of 1.
12 and 5. So the king commanded Mardochæus to serve in the court, and for this he rewarded him.
Right.
Howbeit, Aman, the son of Amadathus, the Agagite, who was in great honor with the king, sought to molest Mardochæus and his people because of the 2 eunuchs of the king.
Right. So because of that story of the 2 eunuchs that came back around, you know what I'm saying? Again, Haman, Saudi, right? You ain't bowed to me. You ain't get up when I was walking through, you know what I'm saying? Now I'm sitting back here thinking, oh, it's over with for you, bro. You done for. I'm putting you on this gallows that's gonna be 50 cubits high. You done for. You know what I'm saying? And the whole thing flipped the script, right? Go ahead with the precept, Arwan.
The book of Psalms, chapter 35, and I'm gonna start at verse 7. For without cause have they hid for me their net in a pit, which without cause they have digged for my soul. Let destruction come unto him at unawares, and let his net that he has hid catch himself. Into the very destruction let him fall.
That's right.
that he was pissed off and wanted to kill Mordecai and all the Jews for no reason. And that same gallows that's being built was for himself.
Yeah, he don't even know it. He don't even know it yet. You know what I'm saying? He don't even know it yet, right? But another thing, so in the scripture that Adwan just read, it said he wanted to molest Mordecai. Now I know in today's world, you know what I'm saying, when we hear molest, we think of molestation, right? But this is what molest would have been back around, I think it was should be around like 14th century, right? So y'all can see this. See, I'll be having fun doing this all the time. So this is what molest is when you go to the etymology of the word. It says to cause trouble, grief, or vexation, disturb, harass, from old French molester, to torment, to trouble, to bother. And you keep getting that all the way down until where it says meaning down here when it's like mo N3 on notion of either burden or barrier, meaning sexually assault, is attested by 1950, right? So molestation was on an array of different things. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just like, you know, a rape or anything like that. It was to bring harm to somebody, or like I said, to a vexation. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? He was trying to vex Mordecai. You know what I'm saying? He was trying to torment him. You know what I mean? Hey, if y'all still rocking with us in the chat, man, drop a 7 in the chat. Where's you at, Shemaiah?
12.
Verse 12. Come on, keep reading.
Verse 12. And Mordecai came again to the king's gate, but Haman hasted to his house mourning, and having a head covered.
Yeah, look at him. Slacky. He's salty. You know what I'm saying? But he hasted to the house mourning. He's sad with his head covered because he thought it was him. He thought he was about to get puffed up again. It's like, nah. He switched it on you real quick, right? Keep reading that one.
Verse 13. And Haman told Zeresh, his wife, and all his friends everything that had befallen him. Then said his wise men and Zeresh, his wife, unto him, if Mordecai be of the seed of the Jews, before whom thou hast begun to fall, thou shalt not prevail against him, but shalt surely fall before him. And while they were yet talking with him, came the king's chamberlains, and hasted to bring Haman unto the banquet that Esther had prepared.
So now we about to get to this banquet. You know what I'm saying? Now we about to get to the meat and the potatoes now. Now we down at the end. If you can't, Adawan.
Yeah.
Adawan, can you read that Esther chapter 7? And we're just gonna read this. It's gonna be good.
This is the book of Esther, chapter 7. So the king and Haman came to banquet with Esther the queen. And the king said unto Esther on the second day at the banquet of wine, what is thy petition, Queen Esther? And it shall be granted thee. And what is thy request? And it shall be performed, even to the half of the kingdom. Then Esther the queen answered and said, if I have found favor in thy sight, O king, and if it please the king, let my life be given to me at thy petition, and my people at my request.
Right. So this is Esther's petition that she got going on. So she's talking to the king and seeing if she could like negotiate, right? She's trying to negotiate something to be able to save her people, right? And watch what Esther getting ready to do, because she about to put that man on blast. That man Haman, yeah, it's coming for you, buddy.
Right.
It's over for you.
Hot.
He get real hot, right? He
Right.
think everything good at the banquet, probably eating, you know what I'm saying, stuff in his face, feeling all right, like, you know what I'm saying, I'm salty about that, you know what I'm saying, Mordecai situation, but you know what? I'm up here with the king. He don't even know. See, about to be on fire.
Right.
We keep reading.
For we are sold, I and my people, to be destroyed, to be slain, and to perish. But if we had been sold for bondmen and bondwomen, I had held my tongue, although the enemy could not countervail the king's damage.
Mm-hmm.
Then the king Ahasuerus answered and said unto Esther the queen, who is he, and where is he that durst presume in his heart to do so?
So he like, yo, what is going on? What you mean? You and your people. Hold on. You my queen. You know what I'm saying? I made you queen. I favor you. Out of all the women, you're the one who I put the crown on. You know what I'm saying? So whoever it is who got a problem, you know what I'm saying, with my queen,
right? Let it be known.
Let it be known, because they got to answer to me.
Right.
Now Ahasuerus, he ready for the smoke, right?
Mm-hmm.
Keep reading out of wine.
And Esther said, the adversary and enemy is this wicked Haman.
Ooh.
Dang.
Just imagine what his face was like when that happened. He was probably like mouthful of food falling out his mouth, like
choking on his food.
He dropped that chicken bone quick, boy.
Keep reading.
Then Haman was afraid before the king and queen.
Mm-hmm.
And the king, arising from the banquet of wine in his wrath, went into the palace garden. And Haman stood up to make request for his life to Esther the queen, for he saw that there was evil determined against him by the king.
Mm-hmm.
Then the king returned out of the palace garden into the place of the banquet of wine, and Haman was fallen upon the bed whereon Esther was. Then said the king, will he force the queen also before me in the house?
Yeah, so he like, man, you gonna take everything, you know what I'm saying? Like, I done sat back here and I lifted you up, you know what I'm saying? The situation with Mordecai, you know what I'm saying? You got buffeted up with that. You thought it was about to get sweet and you was going to get that deal, you know what I'm saying? That ain't happened. Now you trying to take the queen?
Yeah.
Right.
It's
Definitely.
Like
He lucky he didn't put him to death right there.
Right then and there. Like, somebody give me my sword.
Yeah, right. Right.
Slicing him up.
That you'd have pulled the golden sword off the wall, like, yo, just give me that one. I'm gonna use my decoration sword and kill this man.
God, we keep reading that one.
As the word went out of the king's mouth, they covered Haman's face. And Harbona, one of the chamberlains, said before the king, behold, also the gallows 50 cubits high, which Haman had made for Mordecai, who had spoken good for the king, standeth in the house of Haman. Then the king said, hang him thereon.
Look at that.
Hold on, I got a precept.
Look at that.
I got a precept. I'm sorry.
You see how the Most High work, man?
God.
Look, man.
I got a precept.
Bring it out.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 28. I want to start. Let me start at verse 3. Right? Draw me not away with the wicked and with the workers of iniquity, which speak peace to their neighbors, but mischief is in their hearts.
Mm-hmm.
Give them according to their deeds and according to the wickedness of their endeavors. Give them after the work of their hands. Render to them their desert.
Right.
That's exactly what Haman got.
Yeah, man. He got rendered his what? He said his dessert.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, man, he got his dessert. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, revenge is sweet.
Man.
You know what I mean?
The king was already pissed, and he come back and be like, well, you trying to bang my wife in my house?
Like,
Right.
what? That's what we doing? Hey, but, you know, it's all good. Hey, somebody grab Psalms chapter 37 and verse 1, and somebody else grab Isaiah chapter 41 and verse 10.
I got Psalms. You said 37 and 1?
Time. Yeah, man.
What's the other one you call? Isaiah?
41 and 10.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 37 and verse 1.
Right?
Fret not thyself because of evildoers,
Right?
neither be thou envious against the workers of iniquity.
Yeah, man. Don't be envious of the workers of iniquity. You know what I'm saying? These people are in the position that they in. They got the power that they got. You know what I'm saying? They got what was promised to them. You know what I'm saying? The fatness of the earth. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But they only got it for right now, right? They said the kingdom to come that's for Israel is gonna be everlasting forever.
Yeah, that's where that faith come in.
Yeah, like Andre said, man, forever, ever, forever, ever. Like, come on, man. Don't worry about that right now stuff, right? Keep reading that one.
Verse 2. For they shall soon be cut down like the grass, and wither as the green herb.
Right? So exactly what happened with Haman. All that plotting and conspiring that he was doing, and he was immediately cut down just like that. You know what I'm saying? When we keep our faith and our obedience to the Most High and honor him, giving him praise and glory, you know what I'm saying, in fasting and prayer and everything that we do, guess what? You know what I'm saying? He gonna cut our enemies down just like that.
That's right.
But keep reading that one.
Verse 3. Trust in the Lord and do good, so shalt thou dwell in the land, and verily thou shalt be fed.
Right? Keep going.
Delight thyself also in the Lord, and he shall give thee the desires of thine heart.
See? You know what I'm saying? And we already know. Yeah, how should I say? Anything that you ask of the Lord, he'll give it, right? We see in the book of James chapter 1, it talks about, you know what I'm saying? If you ask for wisdom, he gonna give it to you.
That's right.
Right? These are the things we got to be focused on, right? Keep reading that one.
Verse 5. Commit thy way unto the Lord, trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass.
Yeah, Slakia, when you commit in your way, you know what I'm saying? You're making your body a living sacrifice on a day-to-day basis, right? That's something we all got to work on. I have to work on this. I got to get better with that. We should be trying to get 1% better every day. Just 1%. It seems so small, but it's bigger than you think, for real. Keep reading on that one.
Verse 6. And it shall bring forth thy righteousness as the light, and thy judgment as the noonday. Rest in the Lord and wait patiently for him.
Right?
Fret not thyself because of him who's prosper in his way, because of the man who bringeth wicked devices to pass.
Right. So don't worry about the man who prospering in his way, in his wickedness. You know what I'm saying? Don't be jealous of him. Don't be envious of him. Don't be mad. Don't even worry about it. What you got to worry about that for when you're going to have the kingdom forever? Why are you worried about right now when you get the kingdom forever?
That's why the Lord said he'll fight for you and you shall hold your peace.
That's right. You know what I'm saying? Read that Isaiah 41:10, Baba Kasha.
Let me read verse 11.
Okay.
What you just said. But the meek shall inherit the earth, and shall delight themselves in an abundance of peace.
Okay.
Where is it?
Hey, that's right. Because the meek is going to inherit the earth. You know what I'm saying? The ones who abide in the Lord, right? The ones who stay on the straight and narrow path, keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, not going off.
That's right.
Not worrying about your oppressor, right? You're going to be the meek that inherits the kingdom. The one that don't be getting buffeted up about things, you know what I'm saying, and throwing it back in people's faces or expecting them to sit back here and get down for you. You know what I'm saying? Bow down to you or get up when you walk around, right? Yahushua said the servant is no greater than his master, right? And even he was doing a service to the prophets that he had Shalakia, to the disciples that he had around him. Yahushua was being as a servant to them also. You know what I'm saying? So what make us any better than him? Read that in Isaiah 41 and 10, Baruch Shah.
Okay. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 41, verse 10.
Right?
Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy God.
Right?
I will strengthen thee. Yea, I will help thee.
Mm-hmm.
Yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness.
Right? Right? So the Most High, he's going to be there for us at all times. He been there, right? We here right now just because he been there the whole time. Even though things ain't peachy and ain't good and ain't sweet, you know, it ain't supposed to be right now. Because the scripture says we're supposed to endure to the end.
God.
And it ain't the end yet. All right?
That's right.
But I hope y'all enjoyed that lesson for Esther. Somebody grab me the book of Psalms, chapter 81. Because, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know today is a special day. Man, at least I got one brother here with a trumpet. You know what I'm saying? Somebody grab Psalms 81 in verse 3. 43. But read that in Psalms 81, chapter 3 and verse 4, Baba Kushai.
Book of Psalms, chapter 81 and verse 3. Blow up the trumpet in the new moon,
right?
In the time appointed on our solemn feast day. For this was a statute for Israel and a law of the God of Jacob.
Mm-hmm. Right? So you gotta blow up the trumpet in the new moon. If you got your trumpet, let's get to it. You know what I'm saying? Blow up your trumpet.
Oh, hold on. Gotta warm up.
Gotta warm it up. Time. Hey, time. Hey, man. You know what I'm saying? Some brothers, you know what I'm saying? I know they got the mighty wind, you know what I'm saying? Man. They be blowing for real. Blowing the trumpet. So it's the new moon. Now we did hear what month it is. What month is it? And can y'all present it in book, chapter, and verse? Drop it in the chat. It was already given away because we read it, right? Somebody grab Isaiah 66 and 23. That's the funny thing. That's why I did it like that. You know what I'm saying? I did it so it's like you can get it. If you was in here and you was taking notes, yo, every single person should be dropping what the month, the name, and the book, chapter, and verse.
Hey, Ben Young, Captain Judah laughing at you, man.
Of course. Because he wish he could blow his horn as good as me.
Hey, grab that in Isaiah 66 and 23, Baba Kushai.
I got it.
Oh, okay.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 66, verse 23.
Mm-hmm.
And it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another, and from one Sabbath to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me, said Yahweh.
Right? So we all supposed to come and worship the Most High. He made the Sabbath day. He hallowed it. And from, like you said, from one new moon to the next, you know what I'm saying? We got to come together and we got to worship and give reverence to the Most High. The Sabbath, we get through a whole nother week. We able to see another week. Really, you get to see another day. You got to give him all praise and glory for that. Because he could take you out of here like,
right.
Get translated like Enoch or something. You know what I'm saying? Somebody grab you got Sirach 43.
Yeah, I got it.
Grab I don't want somebody grab Colossians 2 and 16. And read that in Sirach.
This book of Sirach, chapter 43, verse 6.
Because there's we keep the new moon at AHOS, we keep the new moon, and it's not the same as everybody else. Some people keep the bright moon. Some would do like the slither, you know what I'm saying? But we keep the dark moon, and this is the reason why we keep the dark moon. Go ahead and read that.
Sirach 43, verse 6.
Speak up.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 43, verse 6. He made the moon also to serve in her season for a declaration of time,
Right,
and a sign of the world.
right,
From the moon is the sign of feast, a light that decreaseth in her perfection.
right. So it said a light. It's a light at the time. You can see the light, and it decreaseth into her perfection, right?
Mhm.
Or it decreaseth in her perfection, right? So when it's bright, is when it's complete, like it's complete bright, perfection, right? And then it decreaseth. But keep reading.
The month is called after her name,
Right? The month is called after her name. When?
increasing wonderfully in her changing, being being an instrument of the armies above, shining in the firmament of heaven.
Right. So at the time when it's decreased, the month is called in her name. And then we see that it increases wonderfully in her changing, right? I ain't sitting back here saying like we got anything against any brother in any other organization or camp that keeps the new moon, because at the end of the day, we're doing we're rehearsing the righteous acts for real, right? Read that in Colossians 2:16, Baba Kashan.
This is the book of Colossians, chapter 2 and verse 16. Let no man therefore judge you in meat or in drink,
Right,
or in respect of an holy day,
right.
or of the new moon, or of the Sabbath days.
That's right. So, you know what I'm saying? We right now, we don't need to be judging nobody. At the end of the day, we're keeping the feast of the Lord, no matter what day it is. At least we out here trying, you know what I'm saying? The brothers who keeping it that might be on a different day from other brothers, at the end of the day, you're doing the acts, right? You're rehearsing
They
it.
keeping it.
Exactly. Read verse 17, Adawan.
Damn. Let me get it back. The book of Colossians chapter 2 and verse 17, which are a shadow of things to come, but the body is of Mashiach.
Because it's a shadow of things to come. You know what I'm saying? As far as what day is the correct day and all this, that, and the third, right? At the end of the day, we're in the body of Hamashiach, Yahushua, because we're trying. And we're all a body because we're out here doing the things that were appointed to be kept.
Right.
Right? Read that in Judges 5 and 11, Baba Kashan.
This is the book of Judges, chapter 5, verse 11. They that are delivered from the noise of the archers in the place of the drawing water,
right?
There shall they rehearse the righteous acts of Yahweh,
right?
Even the righteous acts toward the inhabitants of his villages in Israel. Then shall the people of Yahweh go down to the gates.
Kind. So all we doing is just rehearsing the righteous acts. Because when the time comes, Hamashiach come back and he say, it's appointed we're going to do it this time or this day. Guess what? We already know what to do and how to do it. So worrying about if this brother's doing it on the bright moon, or if this brother's doing it on the slither moon, or if this brother's doing it on the half moon, you know what I'm saying? Don't worry about that. At the end of the day, it's like all praise and glory and honor to the Most High, because y'all doing y'all rehearsing righteous acts. You're doing what we're supposed to be doing.
That's right.
Hey, brothers doing it on a different day or keeping the Sabbath on another day, and I'm around brothers. Guess what? I go kick it with brothers who keep the Sabbath on whatever day they keep it, regardless on the day that I keep it. You know what I'm saying? Because we keep it from Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. Some brothers, it changes for them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a different day every month,
right? But kind, man. I want to go back real quick. Does anybody know who the 2 dragons are that we read about in addition to Esther? Does anybody know? Shemaiah, do you know?
La'ah.
La'ah.
I think I may know.
You think you know?
Mm-hmm.
Are you guessing or you think you know for real?
I think I know for it.
Yeah, I think he do know. Because he probably was looking at it ahead of time. You know what I'm saying?
What? Nah. I mean, just based off of the passage.
Uh-huh. Who the 2 dragons? Who do you think they is?
You want to wait for them? Anyone in the chat now?
Hey, if somebody know in the chat, drop it in the chat. I want to hear what you gonna say. I ain't gonna say if it's right or not.
What's it called? The king and Haman.
Okay. So Banyamyan says the king and Haman. Anybody else? I think they might have went to sleep in the chat. They just on, you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
all
I think it's Haman and I don't know.
Or it could be Mordecai and Haman. You know.
the king and Haman. You say Haman, and I'm not sure. You say either or. All right, let's figure it out. Go to Editions of Esther, chapter 1, and read. I think it is verse 6.
There's additions to Esther. I'm assuming this is the 10th part.
Yep, chapter 10.
Chapter 10, verse 6.
Right?
A little fountain became a river,
Uh-huh.
and there was light, and the sun, and much water. This river is Esther,
Uh-huh.
whom the king married and made queen.
Right? So, Debbie said it's Mordecai and Haman. So you got Mordecai and Haman. You got the king and Haman. All right? Read on.
Mm-hmm. And the 2 dragons are I and Haman.
Right? And this is Mordecai who's speaking.
Yeah.
And he said the 2 dragons is him and Haman.
That's why I switched up and I said it could be also Haman and Mordecai.
Yeah. Because when you think about it, you know what I'm saying? A dragon is supposed to be like how a lion is. What they call them? A certain type of predator.
Apex.
Apex. Yeah, there it is. Apex predator. You know what I'm saying? Right? And you got these 2 apex, like, you know what I'm saying, personalities, these alpha type personalities, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And they going at one another. You know what I'm saying? Mordecai like 9 bowing down to you, 9 getting up. You know what I'm saying? And Haman, he just like, hey man, that man was salty. He was being a sucker for real.
It's crazy. Haman, he was always one step behind though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mordecai always got the best of him. No matter what he tried to do, Mordecai always got the best of him.
Right. You know what I'm saying? The most high. You know what I'm saying?
I got the book of Daniel.
Oh, Khan. Yeah, let's get that. Yeah, man. I hope everybody enjoyed the class. Hey, before you read that, so next feast day that's coming up is going to be Purim. Make sure y'all tune in to the Sabbath class, the Sabbath morning brew tomorrow. It's going to be a mighty lesson coming out with the brother Yaikwab. I know that lesson is going to be fire. And make sure y'all get on the website to get y'all's tickets for Passover. So it's at anointedhouseofsaints.org. You're going to want to get your tickets now. Don't wait till the last minute to get your tickets. Passover is April 21st, man. Get your outfits ready. You know what I'm saying? Get your family ready, whoever you're going to have fun. You know what I'm saying? And let's gather together and give the Most High his honor, his praise, and his glory. Khan. Hey, go ahead and get that in the book of Daniel, Baba Kashai.
It's the book of Daniel, chapter 7 and verse 18.
Uh-huh.
But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever.
Khan. Shema Mashiach Yahushua. Go ahead, King. You got it. Khan. And he did a little bit better, Adawan.
I
don't know, Adawan Judah still on. He did a little bit better that time.
The horn needed to be prepared. It wasn't prepared when I blew it the first time.
God. Hey man, I hope everybody enjoyed the class. I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their Sabbath slash God. Say still struggling. God, man. Oh yeah, and the number for the prayer line, man. Go ahead and hop on the prayer line, you know what I'm saying? So we can send up these prayers to the Most High, you know what I'm saying? And we'll catch y'all tomorrow. God. I'm Israel.
Shalom.
Oh.
This is not a test.
Black skin, black sauce, black Jesus, black music, 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 black music, black music, black music, black music, black music, black music.
What it